talking like MSJ on up, like they should all go for that same strategy, but it ain't gonna happen.
I think Radio Seal's just looking at his screen and just like, please guys, don't do the mistake I did at CMWC. You don't want to be me, okay? You want to go for that fight earlier. Yeah, you're going to have to see it happen. But with the points that Bring Carabao were able to secure this game, they're currently standing with 78 points. I don't expect two teams, realistically, Hodrix, to drop out of top 6. I don't expect RCB and D+ to fall out. So I think we're competing for one slot now. I think it's one spot remaining here for London. And 4MV are going to compete for it. 77, of course, as you go lower, you're going to have to get even bigger games like your Loops, your Stalwarts, your DX. It seems unrealistic unless they take that chance, that one single opportunity to maybe crush it in that last game and go to the finals. In the last game, your most important game maybe of some of these players' careers is just about to happen here on Miramar.
You know, Max, I kind of want Hot Jukes to be wrong and see one of these teams on the second page get into top 6 just so we have a nice little content piece, or it means that kind of has a content piece because he's just going so in. Yeah, no chance, none at all. He's playing the flute, or I guess that's the trumpet, calling it, you know, time of death, and then they come back in. And I don't know if I fully agree with you, Jukes. I feel like there is a chance. It's just not a very big chance for a lot of these teams. And if at any time in your career you're gonna have a pop-off match, this is the time to have it happen, to get yourself into top 6 and get into the finals.
Hey, you know what? It's my job to just say what's in my gut. That's how I do it. And I'll tell you what, I wish my gut is wrong here. Like, I would love to see that happen. It's just the way these teams have been playing. My gut's telling me the other way around, and I hope to see, you know, like these 4 squads. I'm talking Loops, Stalwart, DX, MSJ, all hunt down D+ Kia and then just go crazy this match. Because in my eyes, that's literally the only path to victory.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you do that, sorry, just to wrap up the point, if you do drop on D+ Kia, but then you have a bad game, you're setting up 4MV for success. So, like, you're helping out your direct competition. So it's also something to keep in mind.
What I'm going is, what if you are D+, do you change your drop location and play safe? Because you know that team could hunt you.
I would. All you gotta do is just play safe, just put some points on the board. Like, honestly, like, one elimination could be enough for D+. Literally.
Damn. One elimination, one more match, potentially separating D+ from getting into the finals, or unfortunately having to take the flight back home. 10 seconds till we head into our final game of the day here. Give me some quick predictions of who you think is going to take this last match, Hot Jukes.
Let's go, baby. It's going to be Falcons. Another chicken dinner. More points. Let's see a record.
4MV.
4MV. All right, well, let's see what's going to happen here. Let's head into that final game of last chance of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2024 League Stage. Don and Blank, take it away.
It's been a day of lasts, Blank, but this is truly the last match of the last chance. 12 of 12, a full satisfied fraction, one match left. As we reduce our team's opportunities down to the last moment.
Max could be right, you know, and I think it's somewhat of a surprising thing for 4MV, but they have been getting ever closer to the end game every single game. It has been so close, and I think, you know, another 4MV win could be on the cards. They are trying as hard as they can to get in towards that top 6. It has looked shaky. The boat hasn't always been fully upright, but right now it's looking like clean sailing through this hellish storm, and they're doing fairly well to keep those sails up and blowing, because I think right now that's what 4MV needs. They just need to see this game through. They can't go out early once again, and they might just make it. For D+, it is a much more different game for them. Right now, it is super shaky. You know, these seas are not kind to D+. Osal's doing absolutely everything he can to keep his team into this as we head over to the northwest.
The circle up towards the top, so everybody on the approach needing to find their way on through. This is the most important rotate of the year for some of these teams. D+ Kia going on the long drop up towards Impala. IWNRX may be close by to it as well. Out on the west edge. They have already made landfall here. They find a weapon. Chips is a little bit exposed. You've got to be worried slightly that IWNRX are going to spot this, but it looks like they are busy. They're preoccupied. Those vehicles getting on their rotate themselves. Hot drops I'm not expecting in a match like this. It is really, really dangerous. Oh my goodness, mate.
Turun.
IWNRX out to the east side here, Blake.
For IWNRX, they can't make it, unfortunately. 46 points right now. I'm more than certain D Plus is going to get some more points than that on the game. Be it just 1 or 2 here and there. There is some miraculous jumps that could be made. But again, we'll have to wait until much later in the match to see those go through. 4MV, the closest to chase at the moment, in 7th place. 77 not far behind them with 61 points total. RCB not quite secure yet. A few more points on this game would be great. But it is a terrifying prospect for a lot of our squads with how close it is, with the point sponge at the top being Falcons, continually absorbing a lot of those points, siphoning them away from some of our squads in the lobby. Ooh, it's tough.
There are 3 teams I'm really paying attention to here. It's D plus Kia, it's 4MV, it's 77, right? These are the teams looking to try and secure that last spot. RCB, if they can get 5-6 points on this game, I think they're going to have done enough. But if a team like 4MV has that big pop-off game now, they will push that bubble out of reach for D plus Kia and 77. 77 right now on the southeast side near Los Leones, with Incilio on the south edge of Los Leones as well. And 4MV, they are in Chumacera, looking to try and make their way up as we head on into this final circle of the tournament, potentially for 10 of our teams. We were able to catch up with 4MV during the break. 7.
Oke.
Interesting. Okay, this is something we've criticized 4MV for a little bit, right? Is getting too bold with the angles that they take, or not quite playing off of one another in the cohesive way that's necessary to make a top 6 spot. So if they're more mindful of that, if they can keep that one going, they could push past, very realistically, D plus Kia.
It's a tough decision to make. It's always a really hard call to make towards the end of the day on your last match is, do you play aggressive or do you play safe? For certain teams, it's much more easy to have that role of playing safe. I think RCB is fully justified in that fact, currently at 78 points. Look at the elimination ratio right now for a Falcon, so crazy. But yeah, for RCB, it's only a few points to see themselves completely secure, where they are no longer on shaky ground and they can stand strong up towards the top side of the lobby. 4MV, on the other hand, though, playing safe might not get you those points. Teams like 77 might play aggressively, as might D+. And if they can get more points than you, despite you even getting a 2nd place, it might just be over, right, at that point in time. So 4MV's got to be careful how they play this one out. And playing safe, to me, realistically, that's a top 3 that you're looking for if you're going to play safe. You need that. You need those points. You need the placement points. You need a couple of eliminations off the back of it. We'll see how 4MV does as they are moving in from that south side.
The run all but over for BTR right now. Major Pride, Team Liquid as well. And I think you're right to call IWNRX and maybe even Mirror St. John completely out of it. It's sort of, we're talking about like 35-point games for these guys to be able to make it in. Something we just haven't seen over the course of this tournament. I think the record was 4MV, right? With a 22 elim chicken dinner, getting 32 points on a game. And even that might not be enough for the teams from 13th on downwards to make their way through.
I think it very much depends where our bubble finishes, right? But that would require D+, 4MV, and 77 all to go out early to give a chance for any team 9th and below. So we're waiting essentially for stage 3, stage 4 for more action to take place. But this is now a case of any team goes down under 6th place, now that's it, they're done. We can call them out. teams are going to start dropping out of this tournament, and we will be able to say our final farewells to them before we all head over to London.
Apa?
Well, not all of us. Telling these teams,
Ini BS.
40 players blank, and all the substitutes, the coaching staff as well. They won't be, and that will be a hard pill to swallow. A bitter taste left in the mouth, but every single one of these teams who's made it here has trod a difficult path and deserves glory in their own right. From top to bottom of this table, every single team has made their mark in some way. But at the end, they could not quite stand up to the test of the rest of this lobby. And we will start to say goodbye to them.
D plus on the rotate out. Major Pride are above them. Over towards Truck Stop. As we head over towards probably the more interesting part of Miramar on that northwest. Plenty of cities, plenty of interesting locations, a lot of high ground in this area as well. We move up over towards the northeast around Hacienda. Again, even more high ground to play around with. It's not easy to confirm where this location goes. For 4MV, tough rotate for them. They have a player on the south side being cut out right now by Miran Sejong. Scary place to be. And right now, 4MV is split.
They said they were going to be more cautious about this coming into the game, but maybe they're back up to their old tricks and it could be the end of them. Team Liquid, they're in a scrap with IWNRX, and the team more likely to be able to make it, IWNRX are currently winning it, and by more likely I mean more than 0% into this lobby. 46 points, they have a marathon ahead of them to be able to get their way through, but they need to be sprinting the whole way. The lactic acid buildup is going to be too much to bear. The first point, though, tucked under the belt.
4MV, one of the players took a heavy hit there and is still split off from the rest of the squad. And I'm glad to see it. They left the player behind in favor of a stronger position inside the circle. It's finally happened. And it feels more and more likely they'll be going on as 3.
Will they be able to get that regroup as well? Demir and Sejong want to commit to that position to just get that one Elin as well. It's a low value now target. The rest of 4MV can regroup on it. Voin Donkey ID from the edge of the crater fields, taking shots. SLR in the hands of Vexy. That is a demonic presence sat over the top of 4MV, and maybe the Indonesian team could ruin the Mongolians' day.
4MV in a very troublesome position right now. I don't know how Reefus gets this across. Takes a lot of damage. Might just make it. Up towards the rock. Has to expend another first aid kit here. Inside the shack. This is not a good position. 4MV right now with Baron right on the edge as well. Reefus does not get out from here. He's stuck.
But he's stuck central. And he's protected by Voin Donkey as well as being suppressed by them. This is potentially a survival game for 4MV that they could make work, because no other team can really step into this location. They can't play around the outside of that shack because of Voin Donkey's oversight. And once Voin Donkey ID move, that's going to allow him to leave as well. It's a double-edged sword, and sure, you lose a little bit of power, but for 4MV, if they're just looking to play safe, go low eliminations, high placement this game, it's not terrible.
77, but 1 point. Now just 1 point behind 4MV. To cut them out. They are out in the blue though, and they have to force their way on that eastern side, and 77's prospects are not looking good here. Less than golden. The circle shifts over towards that northeast side, still cutting.
Wow.
4MV a little bit of the pie in. Baron needs to make an almighty rotate. Actually, if he can get round towards that north side of the circle and cut in towards one of the compounds in that area, it might create a very good anchor for the team.
A big factor of this circle is Voin Donkey ID, though still with that hard north shift, it puts them on a massive high angle against the rest of the lobby. They just need to hold off the Xavier and BTR, and they can be really safe tucked away on the high ground ridge of Crater Fields, that long ridge line that extends south from it. Major Pride with the mad dash. looking to try and cross the open fields, and into the compound they go, making it safely. With 3 players alive, I think they lost one earlier, not on this dash.
It's a good rotate from D+, but 77 are not far behind them here. On that northeast edge, to play the ridge side that sits just behind them. AZ taking a couple of pot shots through the smoke. Not going to find too much off the back of it, but overall, real interesting scenario going down. RCB losing 1 player on a knock. More sent in. Does bounce back though, so the Vicious won't quite finish him off there. That might go far enough.
RCB need to hold this spot. They just want consistent points in the meantime. DXavier spotted one and the flash over towards Voindonkey ID. They took a knock, but it looks like they may be able to get that res. I think it was the drop down there. Nades continue to go on forwards into this fight, though, as RCB looking to get everyone back and healthy, stopping the Vicious from moving on forwards. The wide sweep out the side, but Rez is already down, looking to get flushed away, but Wild is knocked in response. And the Vicious looking to draw RCB short here. The Molotov to keep them safe. They really want this res onto Wild.
That's a good res. Good Molotov as well off the back of it, getting Kimmer's back up again. Loxy now must hold off versus these 2 players. Sends one nade and has to immediately send back. Kimmer's just sending more Molotovs through. They're going to run straight through it with the pump shotgun. David takes a burn, but it's not enough. And RCB slowly losing players.
That lineup from the sidelines there and the back lines from Diminor is so brutal for RCB, and they could fall down here, Blank, in the last game. 78 points. They need anything they can get. 1 point, confirm the flush. Wild looks for the cross, but will not find it. Diminor still a brutal presence for them. Loxy on the door frame for RCB, trying to keep Turkey alive here, and now needs to step into the breach. Backed off and will not give the angle. The Vicious surrounding the Sharks in the water, and a knock onto the sidelines. The third party from Loops to maybe give RCB an opening. A step out wide and into the fight they go, but they're giving it topsy-turvy, and around the sidelines they're into the fight in the building. Loxy still on the door frame, and Wild wants this desperately, but there's just nothing given.
RCB underneath, a massive fight on the sidelines as well between Team Liquid and Loops. I doubt that's going too far, but it's more important what we're seeing right now on our screens. RCB versus the Vicious. RCB just need to confirm more points. Realistically, they should get that flush over towards the last player. Stop giving info across. Lockseed under stairs.
Oh no!
Will go down, leaving it just up to Wild now.
Takes 1, takes 2, and RCB are out. Blank. They got 1 point there. No, they didn't even get that. That was taken away. 78 points now, and an opening for D+ Kia, for 4MV, for 77 to try and push them all the way down. They did so well today, but they've been dispatched by the Vicious. Now the Falcons have Stalwart to deal with as we tune on over to this fight. Stalwart need massive points here, but the Falcons have been brutal, punishing to the rest of the lobby. And are we going to see our first team confirmed out? I mean, Team Liquid, they have fallen by the wayside, confirmed not to be going through, but the Stalwart, they're faltering, they're stumbling around the hillsides from Falcons.
Down to one last player, Octaguri. Trying to keep his team in this one. Falcons, they do not give a damn. They will take any fight anywhere. They're so far confirmed. They send over the top. Such confidence in the face of these teams. BTR up towards Miran Sejong. A messy fight, and that is Miran Sejong out. 12th place, they will not be joining us for the grand finals.
We've seen Stalwart eliminated. The hot drop at the start of the day spelled doom. They never recovered after it. And in 10th place and potentially lower, they will take the knee. Miran Sejong as well. In their group stage, Blank, they were a top 3 contender, and now down in 12th place, they meet their demise.
DXavier was sent back by 4MV earlier on, but the knock was stolen away by Voindonkey on high, currently the guard dogs of 4MV. DXavier now in an engagement between them and Loops. DXavier at 3 players. I think it's unlikely that they'll have a performance required to get themselves up towards the top 6 now. But for RCB, they are going to be starting to sweat, because what a terrifying position to be in at just 14 minutes into the game.
4MV's point scoring potential here, Blank, fairly limited. Under the purview of Voindonkey ID, despite being 3 players, they are still locked in, right? They were looking for consistent points here. to chase towards RCB's tally, I think maybe a long shot. 77 can sweep through the outside. I think they have a high point scoring potential, but it's going to be difficult. I'm also looking at D plus Kia on the south edge of that Major Pride compound. They are looking pretty tidy away onto that position and could get a lot of value. Up on that high ground from the ridge line, I think D plus Kia also could do it. So 77 and D plus Kia, the two teams I think could ascend to take out RCB.
For 4MV, life does get a little bit easier on this next shift, potentially. If it moves off from that high ground on the west, Boing Donkey ID is forced to move off that high ground. They might have to shift over towards that northeast side, in which case 4MV can pick up some points. Technically, although Boing Donkey has been guarding for 4MV, it will now be 4MV being the gatekeepers for Void Donkey ID to head towards this next circle with Reefus on that outpost towards the eastern side. But this has to be a good fight for 4MV.
They need it so desperately. 77, the last rollout now, potentially to go down, but they actually just navigate all the way around IWNRX. The south side open to Incilio, though, and Redlick wastes no time. Opens the cannons. There is an answer. Fash actually rebuffed here, and up to the top of the hill. 77, somehow give him the slip. Drop the shoulder, slide under the elbow, and IWNRX don't have them in a headlock anymore.
Yeah, IWNRX are now in a tricky scenario going forward because 77 ahead of them. I think the smart decision to make here for IWNRX is start to roll out because they are in nade range. And in this divot, they could get some good ordnance across over towards them. D plus in a strong spot now as well. Void Donkey ID did move out over towards that northeast side, and 4MV had nothing to say about it.
D plus Kier on the high ground. I mean, with that slip that 77 gave them, now they counterpoint them on the other side of this high ground. And I thought that they were going to have a difficult game, but now blank, there are three teams doggedly pursuing that 78-point mark for RCB.
77 continue to send down towards that southwest side. Get themselves a good position to hold out both loops as well as D Xavier. Some great nades from D+, but a little bit short on the push. Everyone goes through and Palucci dodges it masterfully.
Limbo Boom has been spotted there. Frozen actually finding a little angle, and that is the back line for 77. The two players that stayed up on high, the 2-2 split for them still in action. We'll see if they can keep that one going. But in the meantime, Major Pride and D+ Kia going to be locked into this fight. I think, is that the back line for 77 completely gone now? Is the Ascendant over the ridgeline? Hang on a minute, no, IWNRX? Have they just fallen? What has gone on in the picture-in-picture? I've been looking at this fight, but goodness me. There is action all over the map. Major Pride looking to keep this push going. D+ Kia not giving an inch. The nades are funneling their way into the gaps now. Major Pride can't find an opening. Nolbu finally presents a little angle for them to try and exploit, and immediately they descend. Like hounds at the smell of blood, they roll around the edge, but Nolbu's ready for it. Suppression for Fabian as he steps out to keep his team safe.
IWNRX moving to this fight, but what's more concerning is the fact that Doc's down, as is his teammate Apex versus Void Donkey ID, leaving with just two players now, John. And 4MV's hopes, as have 77, dashed by the wayside.
Two players for 4MV, two for 77. Desperately clinging on. It all rests on what happens in this fight, blank. The opportunity to jump up could be opened if Major Pride from the bottom of the tables win this fight against D+ Kia on the bubble. 67 points they've got, and they are not out of the woods yet.
D+ inside the building, lacking on nades now. Major Pride continuing to